In this video, let's talk about the top 5 investments for buy and hold. So if you are a passive investor, what are the top 5 investments that I suggest that you focus on for the long term? So if you want to know more, check this video out. Hey guys, so we're here again for our investment basics. For those who don't know me, I'm Marvin Gurman. I'm a stock market trader and investor. And from time to time, aside from stock market tips, tricks, and strategies, I try to give you ideas on how you can invest your money. And as you all know, all of the videos are as raw as it can be. I'm here at the parking lot, just finished my meeting. I'm about to go. But I just realized that there's an idea that came atop of my head. There's something that, there will be a lot of people still that who are busy that want to invest but they don't have the time to be able to strategize, do a lot of the nitty gritty. What are the investments that they could just leave and let it grow for them, or at least it will still be there with an expectation that if I placed a million pesos, at least a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it will not dip more than a million pesos as well. Or it will give me a relatively good amount of money. So here are 5 things off of the top of my head that will help you so that you can decide how to spring off all of this. Please remember, this is not an intensive course for you to be able to know all of the details of this. My suggestion after this, after you get interested, is you study more, you research more about this. But I hope this steers you toward the right direction. What are the top 5 buy and hold investments that you can just buy and then hold for a very, very long period of time? When I say long period of time, at least 10 years. When I say a long period of time, whatever happens on year number 2, year number 4, year number 6, it should not really concern you. But your concern and your battle plan is just buy them and let them stay for a very, very long period of time. So tip number 1 is, and I'm not an expert on this, but comment below if you'd like me to talk more about this: paintings. I've seen so many friends who have been really, really, really good at this. What they've been doing is stockpiling paintings, paintings from artists that have done really, really, really good work, or they have a really good upside as well. Please remember, it's a misconception that you only buy artists that are dead already because they have a large chance to appreciate further. That's also true because it becomes very, very rare. But what you can do is, it's just like the stock market, it's just like real estate. You find the ones who have the potential to do better later on. You find the ones that are not just good but have a good brand, and people are willing to buy it at a much, much higher price. So I'm not an expert in paintings, I'm not an expert in art, I'm not an expert in all of these things, but there's a lot of things that you can look at, and for sure it will always be supply and demand. The ones that have the greater demand, regardless of what their style, niche, or industry is, or technique in the way that they draw, if people are willing to buy them at a much, 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 much higher price, then pretty much you can expect them to have a higher rate of return as well. One of the things that I see, no, as an advantage for painting, it has a specific niche, or art, it has a specific niche that there will be people who are collecting. There will be people also who will be willing to buy it at a higher price later on. But the technique is just basically you buy it and then you have to store it. The disadvantage though that I see here is if you don't have a large storage space, or you don't know how to appreciate it also, you don't know what it is, then it will be harder for you to be able to buy it. There's not much, you don't compare it like the stock market where you use financial statements to know if this is something that will grow later on, but there's specific analysis on how you go into this. But you will see a lot of the rich people, a lot of the ones that have disposable income, would buy and collect art as well. So tip number 1, go into art, go into paintings, but again, you need to know what you're getting into. Tip number 2, for those who want to buy stuff that's good for buy and hold for a very, very long time period of time: land. You have to buy land. I would always tell people, if you want to have it rented out, you want to have cash flow, buy a condo. But if you just want to have something long hold with a big chance of appreciation in the future, then buy land. Buy something that is in a place where there's potential growth, meaning there will be bridges, there will be railways, there will be new roads that will be built in that area, there will be commercial areas, there will be malls, or just the potential of it having more and more people, having more businesses. You can always get a clue already which areas are being transformed, where you see a lot of either BPOs being developed there, POGOs being developed there. You see all of those infrastructure projects that will pass there, or at least an airport. If there's an airport in that particular area that will open in the next 2 to 3 years, for sure, there will be more tourism in that area, there will be more commerce in that area, there will be a larger possibility of people having jobs. More people having jobs, they will have the possibility to spend, and not just spend money, but there will be people who will probably rent from it as well, or that land area where you bought later on, because of the sheer demand in that area, prices will go up and more people will want to develop that also for you as well. So please remember, the population in the Philippines will just grow bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Foreigners are coming into the country buying out properties. But there's one thing that foreigners cannot do. Foreigners can buy condos. Foreigners can buy pieces of buildings, but they cannot buy land. And that being said, because they cannot buy land, it makes land more valuable here in the Philippines. It makes the ability of owning lots, owning properties become more valuable, as more and more people will find a use for it as well. And if you notice this, the scenario that's happening here in Metro Manila, but not just in Metro Manila, in the mega cities around the Philippines, there's not much land anymore. The battle now is people are buying condominiums, people are buying areas to stay. So as you go further, there's still land there. That land becomes more valuable because more people will be placing a demand for it. As you've noticed, all of these tips are very, very far from the stock market. That's why you need to learn. You need to find the rudiments. Again, it's not a perfect scenario. There will always be pros and cons to all of this. Please remember, one risk na if you buy land tapos it's very far from where you are, tapos hindi mo mababantayan, there can be squatters there. And in the Philippines, as you all know, the regulations, if your house gets squatted on, it's not even in favor for the owner of the land. The government, the law will favor the squatters more than people who own the land as well. Comment below if you're learning. But tip number one, buy art slash paintings. Tip number two, buy land with, please remember, a possibility of growth as well. I don't know what's happening in Taal, no, but of course, because of the eruption of Taal volcano, maybe property prices in that area might not be as attractive right now. But if you're actually thinking, the volcano might erupt in the next 70 or 100 years again, but because of that, the risk of it erupting might not be as good, might not be as big as what it was just a couple of days ago. So 2 3 years down the line, it might be safer again to stay there. But again, similar to what happened in areas where mabilis na baha, those particular areas did not have a lot of appreciation. But those are some tips, those are some guidelines. Tip number three, buy gold. Gold is something that I've been harping on also over the past years, because why? A gold is a good substitute. It's a good proxy to the US dollar. Please remember, 1 million US dollars 10 years from now won't be worth as much because of inflation, because the US government has been printing massively, has been printing massive amounts of US dollars, that the value of the dollar might be lesser, most likely will be lesser because of inflation and because of them printing so much of it. But 1 ton of gold, 1 pound of gold, 1 ounce of gold will still be what it will still be 1 ton. 1 ton will be 1 ton, 1 ounce will be 1 ounce, one pound will be 1 pound. And that's what I want to hammer. It's so tangible, it's so scarce. Same technique, supply and demand, because it's so scarce. It does not have the same industrial applications like silver, but because it's so scarce, people regard it as a currency already altogether. Because it's so scarce, you cannot print more gold. You can only mine it, and it's very, very limited. That alone itself makes it an investable item that you can buy and hold for the long term. I created different videos about this, about if you don't want to buy the physical gold, you can buy the ETF. But if you want to store it, you want to hide it, you can just buy the physical gold and leave it for a very, very long period of time. Just a disclaimer also, similar to paintings, it may not be as liquid, it may not be as how do I put this, it's not like the stock market that if you want to sell it the next hour, you'll be able to sell it. If you want to sell it over the next 20 seconds, you get to sell it. It will also require some time, but if you do it properly, it's a good way for you to be able to hedge. It's a good way for you to be able to properly manage your assets as well. And please remember, all of this are all totally different and totally not the same as what I normally talk into. But I highly suggest that if you have the time to study it, you can do so and double down on that as well. Tip number four, comment by the way guys if you are learning, if this is something that's adding value to you, if this is something that's helping you comment, I am learning, so that I know that we're now near the 10-minute mark. I hope that you guys are getting as much content as possible from this. That's why I'm creating as much videos as I can whenever I get inspired. If you notice it also, no, the videos are wherever I am. So people are saying, why are you doing a video while you're walking? Why are you doing the video in front of a wall? Why are you doing a video in a seminar area? Why are you doing a video in a parking lot? Because all of the videos are not scripted. All of the videos, whenever I get inspired to share, I always bring my camera with me, and then I just shoot it over and over and over again. Because please remember this, I don't do YouTube just because I need to do it. I don't do YouTube because I'm forcing myself to do it. I do it because I love it. I do it because I know it's imparting a lot of not just insight, but I'm giving out my values, my thoughts, my ideas to all of you as well. So every time I feel the need to share my ideas and my thoughts, I just put a camera out, set it to record, and then we're done, we're good, then upload. And that's how I want to transform our nation. That's how I want to transform entrepreneurs, investors here in the Philippines as well. Before I continue with tip number 4 and tip number 5, quick plug. Please, 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 if you want to learn more about the stock market and you want to do it over a formal setting, I have links below for my live classroom training sessions this February in Taiwan, this March in Manila, this April in London, this May in Doha, Qatar, and Singapore, this June in New Zealand, this July in Sydney, Australia, November, Tokyo, and Dubai. All of these sessions, we will talk about how you can time the markets with confidence. Then, for those who want to learn online, I'd like to invite you. Tagalog course, Chinkitan. Me and Chinkitan will break down the stock market in a way that's easy for you to understand, na kahit saan ka man sa buhay, hindi ganun kahirap mag-invest sa stock market. And for those who want to learn about entrepreneurship and business, we have an online course called Make Money, Grow Money with Shansi, where we teach you business and investing. All of those online courses are in the description below. You can just put in, you just go through the description, and then you'll find all of them there as well. And lastly, those who want to consume via books, we have links for Shopee that will immensely help you also in the stock market. I wrote 5 books, all with one goal, so you can trade the markets with confidence. All right, enough with that. Tip number 4, just buy index funds. Index funds are a good investment that you can buy and hold for the long term. I've created so many videos about index funds, but basically this, index funds drop, but here's what's interesting about it. In spite of it dropping, it always goes back higher than where it was before. Why? Because indices always get recalibrated. Companies that are not part of the index, companies remove the regulatory body, say the PSE, the Philippine Stock Exchange, computes, recalibrates the PSEI every 6 months. Meaning, if this company, number 30, is not good enough anymore, it does not fit their criteria, it's taken out. Number 31 will take its place, so that you only have companies there that fit the criteria. And here's what I can tell you. The stock market has its own risks attached to it. However, when you buy the index fund, never magkakaroon ng company na magsasara. Never at any given point in time, there will be a bankrupt company that will be part of the index. And that's something you can put in the bank. Especially today, when the market is shaky, the market is dropping, the market is not doing as well, buying the index fund even when it's dropping will give you the ability to see that, hey, when it's dropping, it will allow me to buy cheap, because I know later on, math, history, and statistics are always showing that index funds would always go up over a stretched period of time. So I highly encourage you, you're passive, you don't have time, index funds are the way to go as well. You can just, if you want to know more, you want to have a more detailed explanation of index funds, just go to the search tab and just search index funds Marvin Germo. It will all come out as well. Tip number 5, and this is stock market based naman, just buy stocks with good growth and dividends, because as long as the company is giving out dividends, you know that the company is profitable. As long as the company is giving out dividends, you know that it's still expanding and has enough, not just for its own growth, not just for its own operations, not just for its own activities for the future, but it has enough that it can give out to investors. But please remember, you need to learn fundamental analysis for you to be able to do this. But I highly suggest companies that are not just growing but give out dividends that are consistent on a year in and year out basis. What's interesting there is, if you can find a company where on bad times they still gave out dividends, that's a good company. On bad times their dividends even increased, then that's even a good company, because it tells you that the company is very, 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 very resilient, and they know what to do in times of trouble. They know how to pivot, they know how to innovate, they know that if they're being disrupted, they know how to handle that as well, especially now in the world of in the world of the internet, in the world of AI, in the world of automation, there's a lot of disruptions that will actually happen as well. So tip number one, tip number two, tip number three, tip number four, tip number five. I gave you 5 tips. Do you guys remember it? Comment below the 5 tips if you remember it. Comment below what tip appealed to you the most. Comment what helps you. But I'll repeat it. Tip number one, art slash painting. Tip number two, land with growth. Tip number three, gold, especially if you want to hedge. Tip number four, index funds. Tip number five, stocks that are giving you growth plus dividends that are consistent on a yearly basis. Before I end, top of my head, another thing that's not talked about as much, watches, Rolexes. Rolexes have its own appreciation, but in the same way, supply and demand, its rarity creates the price appreciation for it. If you want me to talk more about that as an alternative investment, comment them below and I'll try to make more videos about it. Or another one I've seen from my friends, people have been connecting sneakers, toys, figurines. The Carlo Oples of this world have been making good on that as well. If you want me to talk about that, let's try to do it that as well. But I hope you guys got a lot from all of this. This is not your normal stock market video, but I hope this is something that added so much value to all of you. If you're new to this channel, super appreciate it if you could subscribe and hit the bell so that every time I make videos like this, you guys get updated, so that you get notified every time videos like this will normally come out. And if you are watching my channel over and over and over, you know the drill. Super appreciate it. Like, and also comment below so you get, I don't know, so I get to know also your thoughts and your ideas based on this video that I'm doing as well. Because at the end of the day, I keep doing videos like this because I want you guys to win. And that's all, because Filipinos deserve better. Filipinos deserve to win. It's time that we become the best investing generation ever. I know it sounds redundant that I keep saying this, that this generation will be one of the greatest business, investing, and entrepreneurial generations ever. But it has to sink in. It has to sink in that it becomes a battle cry, that we're not just living anymore for ourselves, that we're not just doing this for ourselves, that we're not just doing this for us to make money. We're doing this because we know we're gonna make a difference. Because guess what? If you guys earn more, you're gonna hire more people. If you guys earn more, you're gonna spend more, and in turn, the economy will do better. If you guys earn more, you're gonna invest more. If you're an OFW and you're earning more and you get to go back, imagine the amount of jobs that you get to create as well. It's time for OFWs that want to come home to get home, to come home when they're young, not when they're 60, not when they're 65, that you come home in your 30s and in your 40s para mapapakinabangan pa kayo, that you get to live out the prime years of your life doing something. It's time that you push, not just for you to be able to invest, not just for you to be able to make money. It's time that people transcend from just being looking for success, but instead pursuing significance, that you do something that will matter in the lives of other people. And that's why videos like this are so significant. I really hope that this transcends from me talking about money, from me helping you to be business people and investors, but you using the skills that you have to earn and make money, but making an impact in the world around you. So I guess that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo from a random parking lot making the vlog, but I hope you get something from all of this, because I'm pouring in as much as I can, because I really want you guys to get as much from me as possible. So that's it for now. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.